All right, as I said at the end of last video, I am the Iceman, and I will be continuing the Ultima 7 playthrough. In this next video, we will get on this flying carpet here and make our way to the town of Minoc, where we will pick up the main storyline, both in terms of following Elizabeth and Abraham to the next city where it sounds like they disappeared to, as well as handing in that box for the fellowship that Batlink gave us. So let's go ahead and get started by mounting our magic carpet here and heading out.
Do you really know where you're going, Avatar?
I have a pretty good idea, Guardian. But we can always check the map when we need be. We want to get to kind of right around here. So we're traveling in the right direction. Cave. Ooh, some headless. Might be worth getting into a little fight. More gold nuggets for us. Come on, Spark. Looks like we've arrived, if not in Minoc, on the outskirts of it. So let's go ahead and save our game here. Well, just double check. Again, we'll check the map. Wrong thing. It looks like we're just about there, so let's go ahead and make this our Minoc save. I'm not sure what's in here. Let's go ahead and take a look. There's a locked chest. And a key. What is this, a gem? Sailing wax, okay. But I'm betting. Yep. Ooh, boy. So let's go ahead and take all of that. Somebody has that who shouldn't. We have a certain apothecary who can do better with these, and guessing this is the mining company. using it to keep the poor gargoyles in line. Yep, Britannian Mining Company. BR, is that BlackRock? There doesn't appear to be anyone in the mining company at the moment. You see a young, bewitching gypsy woman with wise, soul-peering eyes. Name? Margareta at thy service, she speaks slowly. I guess this is the person who Chuckles told us to come see in his clue. Let's go ahead and do this. Your job? The gypsy woman smiles slightly. To tell thy destiny. Destiny? The fortune will cost thee 20 gold, all right? Yes. Margarita takes your money. The gypsy woman peers into her crystal ball. I see a woman standing by a shrine. She is in love with thee. I do not see more on this subject. The crystal ball is very murky. I see that thou must join the fellowship if thou wantest to learn more about them and discover their true nature. It's not very clear. Ah, yes. But there is a new evil that threatens Britannia. I see that thou shalt have to reckon with it in the future. The crystal ball tells me that the ether of the world, the substance that controls magic, has been affected by this new evil presence. I see further that this evil presence will gain great power during an event in the near future. This event has something to do with the planet. Seek out the man at the observatory in Moonglow to learn more about this. I see that he has a device which will be very useful to thee. See him soon, Avatar. For this event is drawing near. What is this I see? I see thou dost seek a man with a hook. He is not thy true adversary, but finding him will be necessary to complete thine ultimate quest. Wait! I see that thou must seek audience with the Time Lord. He is in trouble, although I cannot see what his trouble is. The Time Lord knows much about this new evil, so do not fail to seek him out. To find the Time Lord, thou must first meet the Wisps, who live in the Forest of Yew. They are the best link to him. The monks of Empath Abbey may know how to contact the Wisps. The ball has gone dark. I see it no more. Margarita looks up at you and says, Thou dost face many dangers ahead, Avatar. Take care. With those words, Margarita slumps and closes her eyes to rest. She's obviously exhausted. Bye. Farewell. Go in peace. Interesting. You see a swarthy gypsy with soulful eyes dressed in colorful clothes. He looks as if he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Name? I am Yergi, pleased to make thine acquaintance. Job? I am the king of the gypsies. Margareta, my wife is a wise woman who has come of the necessary talents to see the future. Thou shouldst speak with her. Gypsies? My people have almost completely died out in this world. Now that I am their leader, I am making their welfare my sole responsibility. Soon I will decide if we will leave Minoc. Died out? We gypsies are a people who live and wander, but there are fewer and fewer places where we are welcome these days. We are victimized by the ancient hatreds that have plagued our kind since the days of ancient Susaria. Mimic? Our people came here because we thought we would be accepted. It seemed for a very long time that we were. But after these savage murders, it looks like it is time for us to roam once again. Accepted? We have always been subject to the prejudices of others. We are called thieves and worse, but we are the people that only wish to play our music and dance and live in peace. I thought the people here understood this. Murders. Federico was mine only brother, and no one loved Tanya more than I did, save for Federico himself. What happened to them was unspeakable. I wish I could tell thee more if thou wishest thou may speak to Sasha, but only briefly. Now is the time for him to mourn. Federico? Some thought of my brother Federico as a harsh man, but those of us who knew him could see that he was simply governed by the same pride and passions that rule all gypsies. Tanya? She was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. Both my brother and I were in love with her. We both tried to win her heart. I failed and thought that I would spend the rest of my life with no one. It was not until that last year that my wife Margarita and I were married, and my secretly broken heart was mended. Sasha? He is the son of Federico and Tanya. He left us to learn more about the fellowship. Of course, he feels responsible for what happened. Responsible? We do not blame Sasha for what happened. We will not punish him. Fellowship? Sasha will have to decide if he wants to stay with his people or return to the Fellowship. I believe he will make the right choice. Goodbye. Mayest thou have much fortune in thine endeavors, Avatar. So, what's these murders? We're not talking about Trinsic here. Sounds like somebody else got killed. Oh, it looks like we have another. You see a young gypsy lad. He is wearing a fellowship medallion. His eyes look down, and his expression is one of extreme sorrow. Name? My name is Sasha. Job? I am too young to have a job. I am a gypsy, as my parents were gypsies. I am also a member of the fellowship. Parents? My parents, Federico and Tanya, were murdered. I don't know why anyone would want to harm them. The words choke out of the boy. Suddenly he is overwhelmed with great grief and unable to speak further. Gypsies? I have returned to be with Margarita and Yergi to grieve for my parents. They did not approve of my joining the fellowship, but I know that they were concerned under their love for me, just as I loved them. Fellowship? It's a secret society of spiritual speakers who strive to reach the highest levels of human potential and to share this philosophy freely with all. Blah, 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 blah. No philosophy. Murders. It happened at the sawmill in Minoc. Margareta? She's very wise and knows many things, but when I asked her if I should go back to the fellowship or stay with them, she did not answer me. Yergi? He was my father's brother. He is a good man and wise. Now he is the leader of our people. He will do what is right for us. Bye. The lad stoically nods and turns away. Ooh. You see a cheerful woman with bright eyes and blonde hair. Name? Hello, my name is Xanthia. Job? If thou wouldst not mind, we can perhaps get to know each other during a more sociable occasion. Two people have recently been murdered over at Wilhelm Hill. This is hardly the time to get to know someone. Murders? It is so terrible. I never knew Federico or Tanya personally, but I did meet her son Sasha once. He was a nice boy, if somewhat misguided. He spent the night with us once at the Artists Guild as a guest of Sarah. Bye. Farewell, my lord. I hope I was of some assistance to thee. You see a man whose long hours of difficult, smoldering work have frozen his face into a rigid expression with his eyes hot like coals. Name? I am Zorn. Job? I am the blacksmith of Minoc. Blacksmith? I make weapons and armor. Minoc? Minoc is quite a city. Money changes hands here, but it does not keep gentle people happy. They find something to squabble over. And now these terrible murders have everyone afraid. Weapons and armor? Perhaps we could speak more of these things at another time, say perhaps during the business hours of my shop. Squabble? This noise out there over Owen's monument, for instance. People ought to tend to their own business and let others handle their own, foolish or not. Murders? No one in this town ever really hated the gypsies, or at least not that I have ever been aware of. Who could have done such a thing? Owen? He is our town shipwright. He is a man who has an exceedingly high opinion of himself. Monument? Owen is building a monument to himself. It is 40 feet tall, depicting him holding a roll of plans. Pigeons will have a place to sit forevermore. Why argue over something as unimportant as that? Bye. Goodbye, my lord. You see a weary-looking man who is missing his right arm. With his one hand he scratches his head and squints in your general direction. Name? He lets out a sharp cough to clear his throat. Rutherford's me name. Pleased to meet ye. He extends his greasy hand to you. Its shake does not reflect track into its clasp. Job? Why, I be the barkeep of the Checkered Cork. No better place in Minoc to discuss the events of the day. Murders? But I suppose that clears thee from the list of possible murderers. If thou were to murder, thou would not be asking questions about people about it, what happened regarding the murders, eh? Thou wouldst already know, having been there. The crown jewel. That ship was indeed here of late. In fact, 'twas the night of the murders. Could there be a connection? Hook. I know him. He be a pirate who lives in Buccaneer's Den. They say Hook is so mean he'd kill his own mother for the right price. And I would wager that he's right. Why, I just got into a fight with this Hook once. I was lucky and I escaped losing only my right arm and still with one good eye left. It was somewhere around that time that I started having second thoughts about my career as a pilot, and here I am now. I have not seen him recently, but the description of the murder scene certainly sounds like his handiwork. Minoc. Yep, this town's usually bloody quiet. That was until recently. His squinting eye opens wide and he stares straight at you. Events. Before all this evil at the sawmill, the buzz was all about the monument. Monument? Oh, thou must mean the statue they are going to be building our shipwright. His name's Owen, a local boy. I understand it is to be as tall as a man on a horseback, and shows Owen gazing through a telescope or some such thing like that. Sawmill? Say, thou will not be from around here. He looks at you skeptically. Thou art not from the Fellowship by any chance, are thou? No. Just asking. Thou dost not have to take any offense. Murders? Rubbers to repeat. Fellowship. Thank goodness that with all the town at each other's throats in recent weeks, we have the Fellowship trying to hold the town together. I be no member or nothing, but I just heard of all the people, good things they've done, feeding the poor and such. Bye. I shall see thee later. At least I will, if not a say in the front of me good eye. Well, it looks like we learned a little bit more about the crown jewel and all. Pretty big building here. And pretty empty, too. You see a mountain man who appears to have been in the wilderness a long time. He gives you a long look, then he snorts and looks away. Name? I am not in the habit of speaking to strangers, but seeing as how thou dost appear to be very intelligent, I shall humour thee for now. My name is Carl, formerly of Minoc. Job? Job? Art thou mad, my lord? Firstly, if thou dost wish to offer me employment, I have no interest in it. Secondly, if thou dost wish to hire my services for anything, for any reason, then I reject thine offer most enthusiastically. Thirdly, and if thou dost wonder what my job is, then wonder no more, for I have none. Fourth and lastly, if thou dost wonder why I have no job, then stop it right now, because it is none of thy business. Jeez. What dost thou want? Leave me alone. Bye. Cease thy racket before I lose my temper. Interesting. Not the friendliest of sorts. No. Somehow we bypass this building. I think this is the sawmill everyone's talking about. You see a stealthy looking woman dressed in all green. There is a wicked grin on her face. Name? I answer to Katerina and to nothing else. Job? I am a teacher in Minoc, along with your care. Murders? Shocking. Such things do not normally happen here. It will prove the value of knowing how to defend oneself. Minoc? Minoc was usually busy but quiet. Then our town was bothered by this nonsense over Owen's monument, and now these murders. Jakir? He is quite an able trainer in his own right. Not as skilled as myself, obviously, but I do think he is cute. Though I bid thee, do not tell him I spoke of this. It will only encourage him. Art thou speaking about me? Mine ears are burning. Nothing thou shouldst be concerned about, Jakar. She winks at you. Monument? I understand it is to be 30 feet high and will display our local shipwright as he holds aloft a sextant. Thou wouldst not believe a thing such as benign as this could create trouble. Murders. Say, I thought we said that already. Our establishment is now closed. Please come by during business hours. Trouble? It would seem the increase in hostilities among the fair citizenry over the shipwright's monument has filled much of the local populace with a burning desire to acquire combative skills. Business has never been better. Hostilities? Everyone in town is all up in arms about this and that, but surely others would know more of these false politics. I care not. Bye. Farewell. May all thy journeys be interesting ones. You see a stern but friendly-looking man dressed in a military fashion. As you watch him, you get the feeling he is sizing you up as well. Name? I am Jakar, named after the great general from the ancient times of Society. Welcome to Minoc. Minoc? Ours is a city of commerce, although lately its primary trade seems to be gossip and envy. Before these murders, the latest local scandal had been the statue to be built of Owen the shipwright. Job? Along with Karena, I am the trainer in the fighting arts. My specialty is strength and strategy on the field of battle. If one does not use his head while using one's muscles, he is in danger of losing it. Murders? I suspect the killer or killers are from out of town, and perhaps long gone by now. There has not been a local murder for some time before today. Our fair measure of prosperity has made the people here mostly tolerant of each other. That is why the gypsies settled here. This apparent lack of motive is puzzling. Owen? I have known Owen as long as anyone in this town, several years ago. 3 ships that he built sank. The brother of Carl, one of our more colorful local residents, was killed. No investigation was ever made into the cause of the sinkings. But Owen once confided to me that he secretly blamed himself. He started drinking heavily and eventually took up with the Fellowship. Karina, a skilled and fierce battler, but a bit short-sighted when it comes to tactics. I'm afraid still, a woman as attractive as she is, diverting enough when encountered. But do not mention that to her, that I said it. It would just encourage her. It is uncomfortable sharing the same roof with her as it is. What art thou whispering over there? Nothing, nothing at all, Jakir winks at you. Trainer, I am not in the habit of running regular training sessions at this time. Gone? I doubt that anyone in our community is the killer. If the stranger or strangers involved were to remain for long after the crime, they would soon be revealed. Therefore, the killers are no longer in town. Gypsies. Thou wouldst do better to ask Karina. She is a good friend to the gypsies and would know about them more than I. Short-sighted? She is the sort of person who labors under the belief that all problems can be solved in one of 3 ways. Hit them harder, hit them faster, or hit them some more. Art thou talking about me? I feel mine ears burning. Thou art dreaming, Karina. Why would I talk about thee? He giggles conspiratorially at you. Roof. There used to be 2 training halls in Minoc, but one of them burned down after being struck by lightning. Now we are forced to share this one. Cute. Ah, so Karina said I was cute, did she? Yes, I have known she has had her sights on me for these years. Bye. It has been a pleasure speaking with thee. Those 2 are good. You see Julia, a member of your party of adventurers from one of your previous visits to Britannia. Name? Has it really been that long, Iceman? 'Tis I, Julia. Job? Since accompanying thee on thine adventures when thou wast last in Britannia, I have become a tinker of Minoc. I repair things for the people of town, but my duties and obligations are not so pressing as to prevent me from joining thee again should thou wish it. After all, when thou art in Britannia, thou hast usually come to repair very important things and to help put the world to rights. Spark. And who is this fine young lad? My name is Spark, milady. He is a cute one, and so well-mannered. Spark turns beet red. Tinker. It is not really what I wish to do with the rest of my life, but I do not have the patience to be a proper tinkerer, if thou didst ask me. I would say I have sacrificed enough. Minoc, 'tis a terrible thing to be happening in our town, these murders. Minoc was once a safe and quiet place. Safe and quiet? Well, at least safe, if not necessarily quiet, especially with all the commotion caused by Owen and his monument. Owen? Owen is our local shipwright. Frankly, I think he is something of a fool. Monument. The Fellowship wanted to build a statue of Owen. That way they can use him as an example of the successes of Fellowship philosophy. It would also increase Owen's business to the point of upsetting the local economy and driving the Artist Guild out of business. Murders? Federico and Tanya were killed at the Minoc sawmill in a manner most gruesome. Federico and Tanya? Federico was the leader of the gypsies, and Tanya was his wife. They live outside of town. I know nothing more about them. Gruesome. The manner in which Federico and Tanya were murdered suggests a ritual killing. Oh boy. From what I have been hearing, it is similar to the one that thou hast run across in Trinsic, and the one that occurred in Britain a while ago as well. 'Tis a most puzzling mystery. Bye. Goodbye, Iceman. You see a handsome craftsman with an intense, piercing gaze. Name? My name is Gladstone, my lord. At thy service. Job? I am a glass blower and a sculptor. I make mostly bottles and bowls, but in my time as I have constructed all manner of statuary out of glass as well. Glass? I regret that I do not have any of my work for sale at present. Like our other artists, I have a backlog of orders that will keep me busy for the foreseeable future. But there are several examples of my work, of which I am most proud. In the guild hall on display. If thou art interested, please have a look at them. Artist Guild? The Artist Guild is a group of local craftsmen. We sell our wares here in Minoc, while we are organized as a guild or eco members. I am tentatively the guild head. Minoc? There is commerce here in Minoc, sufficient to keep the Artist Guild financially solvent. But in recent weeks I have come to fear we may not keep it going for much longer. Unlike the Fellowship or Owen's Monument, we do not have much political power. Now other events make our trouble seem less important. Fellowship? We do not get along with these people very well. I believe we have been unofficially marked as the enemies of the Fellowship ever since all of the members of the Artists Guild refused Eleanor's invitation to join. They dislike us because they consider us to be indisposed toward unity. Monument? Owen, the shipwright, is commissioning a statue of himself to be built in the center of town. The Artists Guild decided to have nothing to do with this foolishness, of course. But just the word of the statue is spread, and now orders are coming in from all over Britannia. Merchants want to have a ship built by the famous Owen, master shipwright of Minoc. Power. The Artists Guild is taxed mercilessly by the Britannian Tax Council. Even in our best year, it is a struggle to make ends meet. It seems that we are not considered important enough to be given an even chance. Events? Surely thou hast heard about the murders of Frederico and Tanya. Statue? I fear we have grievously miscalculated by thinking that if we boycotted the statue, it would not be built. Seems that all the talk of it has made Owen into some sort of bizarre legend around the area. And the bloody statue hasn't even gone up yet. But that, I fear, is not the worst of the situation. Murders. I shudder to think such foul deeds are so freely committed in our fair town. Art thou investigating it? I wish thee all the success in tracking the culprit. I barely knew Frederico or Tanya, but I did meet their son Sasha once. Worst? Once the statue is built, orders for shipbuilding are bound to increase even more. It won't take long before all local commerce will become affected by it. Owen will be purchasing more of the local resources, which will cause prices to rise, especially at the sawmill. And that will surely force the Artists Guild into bankruptcy. Sasha. He befriended Sarah and stayed the night with us once. He seemed like a nice young man, but misguided. Goodbye. Good journey, my friend. You see a handsome, creative young man. Name? I am called Sarah, my lord. A pleasure to meet thee. Job? I am a member of the local Artist Guild here in Minoc. Artist Guild? Yes, we have an Artist Guild here in Minoc, and I am a member. The other members are Xantha and Gladstone. Thou canst purchase some of the finest crafts available anywhere in Britain. There. I, for one, make clocks. Minoc? Until the monument was to be built and now these murders, I believe this town is to be a good place to live. Xantha? Xantha is a very talented young woman. She makes very elaborate and distinctive candle brass. Gladstone. Gladstone is a sculptor and a glassblower. He is also in charge of most of the business decisions for the guild. Clocks. I make all types of clocks and watches that tell the time reliably and to the second. I would be happy to sell thee one, but right now I have a 2-year backlog to fill. Monument. That shipwright Owen is a self-righteous fool. His statue will be nothing more than a monument to all the hurtful bad feelings he has caused in this town. I cannot believe that such a meaningless and odious charade could jeopardize our guild's future. Murders. It is horrible. Frederico and Tanya were looking for their son, Sasha. He had run away to join the Fellowship. How could this have happened to them? Sasha slowly shakes his head. Future. Thou hast best ask Gladstone about that. Sasha. I met him a few weeks ago when he came to our town looking for a local Fellowship branch. I once left him stay the night at the guild hall. He said his father would beat him if he knew what he was thinking of joining the Fellowship, and I believed him. Sasha's father could be a cruel man. He is basically a good lad, just looking out for the truth like a lot of us are. Unfortunately, he is looking in the wrong place, if you ask me. Gypsies? Their camp is just outside of town. There are not too many of them left. I understand that Sasha's aunt, Margareta, is an amazing fortune-teller. For a few gold coins, she can tell thee many things that may be very useful to thee. Fellowship. The Fellowship is the philosophical group dedicated to the teachings of a truly great man named Batlin. In the absence of the Avatar, he has done blah, blah, blah. and blah, blah, blah. Blah. Not that I am a member or anything like that, but I have heard the basic speech from Sasha so many times that I have it memorized, so does everybody else. I never tried to dissuade him from joining the fellowship, even though I have no belief in it. I think Sasha is old enough to start making his decisions for himself. Now, I truly regret not sending him home the moment I saw him. Bye. A pleasant day to thee, my lord. Do come see us again. Man, a lot of people outside. You see a woman whose cultured manner is tinged with suggestion of arrogance. Name? She straightens her shoulders and looks you in the eye. I am Eleanor. Job? I am the head counselor of the fellowship branch here in Minoc. We are a society of spiritual seekers, dedicated to achieving our highest potential, advocating worthiness, unity, and trust in our brothers. Ah, but thou dost know all this. I now recall that a message Batlin sent to me. I have been expecting thee. Thou hast been sent to deliver our package. Thou mayest relinquish it now. Elizabeth and Abram, thou hast just missed them. They were here collecting town funds. They have moved on to pause to visit our shelter there. Deliver? You produce the package and hold it before Eleanor. Her eyes shift from you to the package and then back to you. Surely thou hast been instructed not to open the package. Hast thou opened it nonetheless? No, I have not. Eleanor takes the package from your hands. Thou hast done very well. Now, as promised, here is thy payment. Minoc, we should strive to put this business of the murders behind us. Minoc will soon know throughout Britannia is a city where majestic ships are built. There is even going to be a statue erected in the center of town honoring our shipwright Owen. He is a skilled and valuable member of our community and, of course, a fellowship member. Murders? I am saddened by the loss of life and cannot say I am surprised. Federico and Tanya were antagonistic people. The same may be said of most gypsies. I have nothing against them personally, of course. Owen? He is a classic example of fellowship making a vast difference in a person's life. Before he joined the fellowship, he was without confidence and ready to put aside his trade. Now he stands on the verge of being recognized as the finest at his craft in the world. Fellowship. The fellowship is a highly regarded in Minic. Why, even the mayor himself is a member. I brought him into the fellowship myself. He was the first new member of our local branch. Gregor, the head of the fellowship here, directs the Britannian Mining Company. Many fellowship members pass through Minic. Antagonistic, Federico and Tanya treated all members of our fellowship as if we were diseased. Federico particularly would often bully our members. Thou dost know it is common knowledge that we are pacifists. He had a reputation for cruelty, even among his own people. It is not surprising it came to a violent end. Gypsies. They have set up camp southeast of town, near the sawmill. That is suspicious, dost thou not think? Crown Jewel. Many ships come and go in our busy port. I do not know of any one specific ship. Perhaps thou shouldst ask Owen. Hook. Remember the Hook? I am certain I would remember having seen anyone like that. And I am positive that thou dost not match the description of any fellowship member that this branch has ever come into contact with. Bye. I have a feeling that we shall meet each other again. You see an elderly man struggling to maintain a regal posture. His eyes widen at the sight of you. I had heard that thou wert traveling in Britannia again, but it took mine own eyes to believe it. Welcome, Avatar. Name? Burnside is my name. Job? I am mayor of Minoc, and have been these past 20 years and more. Minoc? Apart from this business of the murders, we are a town run by commerce. Gold runs this town. As goes the money, so goes Minoc. Take this monument affair, for instance. Murders. Huh. As Federico and Tanya were not actually residents of Murdoch, there is little I can do as mayor other than increase the town guard. The investigation falls somewhat beyond my jurisdiction. It would appear the killer or killers were from out of town and are probably long gone by now. Thank goodness. Monument? I am sure thou art aware of the plans for a monument of Owen. The shipwright he is paying for it himself. I am usually against such public vanity, but the fellowship is very much in favor of it. Vanity? But in this special case, it does immeasurable good for the town. It increases our prestige. People will come from all over Britannia for the unveiling. Fellowship? Yes, I wear a fellowship medallion given to me by Eleanor. Do not worry thyself. I shall not try to make thee join. He laughs nervously at his own little joke. Unveiling. Why, even Lord British himself will be in attendance. It is a special opportunity when one gets a private audience. Eleanor? Eleanor says that the fellowship could bring much money to Minoc. It would be wonderful for trade. I could never let my personal feelings get in the way of good for this town. Feelings? Avatar, may I tell thee a secret? Sure. Avatar, I must confess to thee that I feel like the fellowship promotes a philosophy that is dubious at best. And its membership seems to be comprised chiefly of fools and emotional weaklings. Bye. A pleasure, friend. Avatar, a pleasure. You see a man with a very worried look on his face. Name? I am called William, my lord. Job? I work in the sawmill here in Minoc. Sawmill? I take the logs that are made from all the trees that are cut down and by the logger and you and cut them into planks in the local sawmill. Then I sell the planks mostly to Owen the shipwright and some of the artists guild as well. Minoc. It was such a nice quiet town until these murders happened. I cannot believe it. Murders. I found the bodies first thing this morning when I went to open the sawmill. I took them all of the discipline I have gained from the Tree of Inner Strength and the teachings of the Fellowship to keep from going mad at the sight of it. It must have happened some time last night, but I swear to thee, I never heard a thing. Fellowship? I have been a member of the Fellowship for only a short time. I have only of late begun attending Eleanor's meetings. Oh, only since they announced the monument was to be built. Wouldst thou like to know more of the Fellowship? No, no. Trust me, thou canst possibly understand how cruel and terrible life can be. Thou dost need the Fellowship. I am lucky to have found it in the time to face mine own moment of truth. I hope thou dost realize that thou dost need the Fellowship before it is too late. Monument. Thou dost know? The monument of Owen, the shipwright, standing on the bow of a tall ship. Everyone in town doth know of it. Bye. As soon as he was dismissed you, the overwrought William hides his face in his hands. You see an old man whose domineering disposition matches the hardened physique of his aged body. Name? My name is Gregor. Job? I am in charge of the Minoc branch of the Britannian Mining Company. Britannian Mining Company? The Britannian Mining Company produces a wide variety of minerals that are essential to the continuation of progress in Britannia. Minoc. Our town is a major center of trade in Britannia, and it is a place of social change. Trade? Here in Minoc, we have one of the largest mining operations in Britannia, a sawmill, an inn, the Artists Guild, and a shipwright. Social change. Here in Minoc, we are erecting a monument to our good shipwright Owen, a master craftsman whose name will soon be known throughout Britannia. We also have a very active fellowship branch. Sawmill? A long-standing and profitable business. A shame it will become more renowned for the murders that were committed here rather than any of the fine work it does. Inn. The Checkered Cork is famous for its rustic character and atmosphere. It is a fine place. Do not put off by its apparent uncleanliness. Artist Guild. The Artist Guild is a small collection of craftspeople who have huddled together to sell their little trinkets. They pride themselves on being the local dissenters of everything. Shipwright? May have already mentioned Owen, but the shipwright, he builds the finest ships that have ever set sail. Monument. I hope to organize things with the Mayor Burnside to get the monument built. It will be huge and made of the finest ore from our mine. Fellowship. They have done immeasurable good for Minoc, helping to counter the disunity that can plague a town such as ours, where so many people are fixated upon monetary gain. Bye. Be on thy way then. Oh boy. So we have two pretty bad murders here. And what do we have else? We have a candle bra. And it looks like a dagger here, a serpentine dagger. Hmm. Okay. Well, no one has tasked us to do anything with the murder this time. But everyone who's supposed to be in town doing their own thing is currently over here. So what are we supposed to do? For now, let's head back to town proper. And let's go ahead and save our game. All right. I think that they have a mine not too far from Sawmill. Let's go and explore. Oh, we've got more. I don't think we need any more torches. But we'll take every vial of this we find. Okay, let's make our way. There's some people in here. A steering man watches you as you approach. His eyes shift back and forth suspiciously. Name?
I am Mikos.
Job?
I am the foreman of the Minoc mine.
Minoc?
He spits on the ground. I pox on them. Down here I am safe from all of their arguing. Next they will be killing each other.
Mine?
This mine is run by the Britannian Mining Company. It is inside what was once the Dungeon Covetous. They mine for iron ore, lead and other materials with highly trained miners and special mining machinery.
This is actually one of the dungeons, huh? Miners.
Currently, most of the miners are away, and as the machines are being repaired, right now we have two engineers, Owing and Malley, down in the branch of the main tunnel. Do not disturb them, for they are involved in a special project. We also have a gargoyle, Fotis. He is helping to maintain a semblance of the mine's usual operations.
Machinery?
This place is full of machinery that is very dangerous if thou dost know what not they are doing. Thou dost not wish to see what one of those digging contraptions can do to a man if he gets too close.
Owings and Malloy?
Miko shakes his head slowly. I am not sure where the Britannian mining company found them.
Bye.
Do not squander around down here, my lord. Thou shouldst leave right away.
We'll see about that. I'm here to personally depopulate the Britannian Mining Company of any and all of these that I find. You see a wingless gargoyle with terrible skin disease. It looks as if his face is falling off in patches. Name?
To be named Fundus.
Job?
To be a digger in the mines, to be looking for iron ore and lead end.
And
The secret ore.
a wave of delirium passes over the Gorgo.
To be going back to work now, Mikos. To be working hard. To have no need to give any more of the silver fluid.
Secret ore?
To be called Black Rock.
Silver fluid?
To need the venom. To have more venom.
Blackrock.
To be the load located in a hidden area of the mind.
The gargoyle's eyes roll up to his head. He is obviously sick. Goodbye.
To be going back to work now, Mikos.
So he sounds like the perfect example of what the mining company has been doing to them. It's a shame. So this was the old Dungeon Covetous, huh? Interesting. There's a magic lock here. And we do happen to have an unlock magic spell. Nice. There we go. Hmm. Oh, I forgot. I need to have that open to double click on him. Right. What's out here? Interesting. Did it take us? That's the cove area, huh? So we could have probably gotten in here without having used a spell, but okay, it looks like we've explored the northern part of the mine. Let's go to the southern part now. Dead end. That guy met a dead end. Before you is a skinny man with a silly smile on his face. He is holding a lantern in one hand and a dirty spoon in the other. Name? My name is Owings, he says, giving you a rapid up and down handshake. Pleased to meet thee. My partner here is Malloy. Job? I do what he does. Owings jerks his thumb towards Malloy, digging away next to him. The fat man is trying to chisel through the rock wall using only his spoon. Owings' thumb hits him in the back. Malloy looks over at you and gives you a friendly wave as he goes to stand up. As he does this, he bumps his head. There is a loud knocking noise. He says, "Ooh!" very loudly. His cry echoes through the length of the mine shaft. You can feel the dust from the cracks in the ceiling settling on your shoulder. Owings suddenly looks very nervous and throws both of his arms over his head. There's a terrible rumble, and you feel the ground beneath you start to shake. After a moment, the tremor subsides. Both of them look very relieved. Malloy puts one hand up to his bruised head and feels around on the ground with the other. He eventually finds and picks up a metal mining helmet. He gingerly places it over his head, which appears to still be causing him pain. You can see that the top of Malloy's head barely fits into it. Allow me to rephrase that. I do what he does, except I always wear a helmet. And with that, Owings gives a big nod, throwing his head up and down. This causes his helmet to fall down over his eyes. Malloy looks over at you and Owings, giving them both of you an incredulous pouting grimace. Tremor? Owings pats his hand on your shoulder and pats lightly, finger up to his lips. Be very quiet. This is an old tunnel. Mikos the foreman says that any sudden loud noise could trigger a cave-in. Malloy goes back to digging. The exertion from his work causes his helmet to fall off. He sighs, picks it up, puts his back on, and goes back to work. Almost immediately, it falls off again. He puts it back on, it falls off. He puts it back on. Malloy grunts and sighs. It falls off, dejected. He puts it back on. This happens again and again, so many times that it's almost painful to watch. Finally, Malloy just lets the helmet lie there and throws a tantrum. He trembles and bites into his hand to keep from crying out in frustration. Owing steps up to Malloy and pats his finger to his lips. Shh. Looking down, Owing sees Malloy's helmet on the ground. Dost thou remember Miko's telling thee to always wear thine helmet? He says. Owings picks it back up and dusts it off. He brushes it down on top of Malloy's sore head, causing Malloy to wrinkle his face in pain. No need to thank me, Owing says with that. He nods his head up and down, causing the front of his helmet to fall down over his eyes. He reaches out with his arms blindly. Malloy looks over at Owings and then at you, giving you both a pouting grimace. Helmet? Mikos, the foreman of this mine, told us to always wear a helmet. It is very important. The two of us even sent a mining helmet to Lord British. A funny man dressed just like the Avatar told us how Lord British had been hit in the head with falling objects twice, and we sent a helmet to him. It appears Malloy can no longer stand being left out of the conversation. It was mine idea to send Lord British the helmet, he says proudly. While we have not yet heard back from him about it, I'm sure he will find some way to thank us. Malloy's helmet falls off and he stands there a long time before regaining composure to pick it up again. Eyes. You reach up to tip Owen's helmet back so that it is no longer covering his eyes. He smiles up at you thankfully. Takes off the helmet to scratch at the top of his head, puts it back on, and it immediately tips back over his eyes. Malloy watches his smirks and slowly shakes his head. Owing's helmet. Thou art a kind person to fix my helmet for me, Owing says, giving you a big grin. You see Malloy look very suspiciously at Owing's helmet. Thou art wearing my hat, he lets out a growling humph, and snatches Owing's helmet off of his head. Malloy removes his helmet, casually tossing it to the ground. He then puts Owing's helmet on. It fits him perfectly. Malloy flashes you both with condescending style, With the curtain off, Trinsic goes back to work. Owings looks at Malloy and then back to you. He is very confused. That was not very nice, Malloy. Thou didst take mine hat. Owings' face is covered with a large frown. His lower lip starts to tremble. Mine hat. Owings reaches over and takes the mining helmet off Malloy's head so carefully that he doesn't notice. Owings puts the helmet back on with a little sneaky laugh of triumph. Pointing to the hat, he taps Malloy on the back to let him know what he has done. Malloy stops digging and goes to stand up. As he does this, he bets the head on the ceiling. Once again, he makes a loud knocking noise. Malloy says, "Woo!" After shaking his head clear, he slowly steps towards Owings. He is quite angry, so angry that he does not notice that he has stepped onto the other helmet and it is stuck on his foot. Taking his spoon, he whaps Owings in the nose with it. Upon getting hit in the nose, Owings jerks his head back, causing his helmet to fall off. "Oh, mine helmet!" he cries. Malloy is so angry that he can no longer contain himself. "'Tis not thine helmet! It is mine helmet!" he shouts. This sends a thunderous echo down the mine shaft. You can feel the shower of falling dust and rocks. There is a low rumble and an ominous vibration from the earth. Owings and Malloy are so scared that in their panic they run right into each other. Malloy's foot, the one with the helmet stuck on it, slides out from under him and he lands on his posterior. Both cover their heads in anticipation of a massive cave-in. After a few moments of fearful anticipation, the tremor subsides. The tunnel is still standing, none the worse for wear. "I thought I was done for," says Owings. With that, a large piece of rock falls from the ceiling and lands squarely on Owings' head. It makes a loud knocking noise. Owings starts to pout and cry very childishly. Malloy points at Owings and laughs until tears roll down his face. Glancing up at the ceiling, Malloy starts feeling around for his helmet. Finally, feeling underneath himself, he pulls out his helmet, and on top of which it had fallen. Looking at the hat, Malloy discovers that his bulk has crumpled it. It is ruined. He puts it on anyway, looking most ridiculous, and his tears of laughter turn to tears of sorrow. Now, both of them break down into fits of childish bawling. Malloy looks at Owings and says, "This is another fine mess thou hast gotten us into." Bye. Owings and Malloy, both unable to stop their crying, wave goodbye. Oh, that is too much. You see before you a short, roly-poly man with a pompous smirk on his face. He is holding a lantern in one hand and a dirty spoon in the other. Name? Malloy regains his composure. "Hello there, I am Malloy, and I apologize for my partner's childish antics." Job? Owings and myself are working as this mining engineer. It's a position we were fortunate enough to acquire recently. We are working on a special project for the Britannia Mining Company. Owings gives a big nod, throwing his head back and snapping it straight down. "That is absolutely right, Malloy." Helmet on foot. Malloy cooks out with his foot, trying to dislodge the helmet which is stuck there. He looks at Owings and pouts. "Why dost thou not do something to help me?" Owings grabs the helmet on Malloy's foot and attempts to dislodge it. After several fierce tugs, it comes off with a loud pout noise. Owings pulls the helmet right onto his own face, and this makes a loud knocking noise. Malloy goes hurling backwards, crying out in panic. He smacks the back of his head on the rock wall behind him. He takes off his crumpled helmet and points to it. "A good thing I was wearing this, or I might have been hurt." With that, they lose track and tumbles down to the ceiling, landing squarely on his head. Malloy says, "Ooh!" Owings breaks into a giggling fit. Malloy flashes you an incredulous, pouting grimace. Mining engineers? My partner and I are not exactly mining engineers, although we did travel to Minoc to become miners. We came here with a map. It was a map that the funny man dressed like the Avatar sold us. That is correct. When we got here, we discovered that the Britannia Mining Company owned the rights to this area of land already. That funny man dressed like the Avatar lied to us. Owing scratches his head thoughtfully. The Britannia Mining Company wanted to throw us in the prisons of you for claim jumping. I was able to convince them that we would have been more valuable to the Britannia Mining Company if we could come to work for them. Malloy beamed proudly. Special project? Owings and myself are now involved in a very important special project, but that is a secret. Can we trust thee? Yes. The Britannia Mining Company has asked us to dig a tunnel to New Magentia. It will revolutionize the mining industry. They would not want anybody to find out about it. They said that bringing more mining equipment over here would just make people suspicious. So they told us to start by using these spoons. Owings proudly holds up his spoon to show it to you. He smiles. Yes, it was such a special project, they told us, and we were the only ones who could think of, who could even attempt to do such a thing, Malloy beamed proudly. Oh, come on, Owings, we had best get back to work. We have a schedule to meet. Funny man. Someone told us his name. Let me think I can remember it. Sullivan, I think it was. Funny name for an avatar, but they're alt. Map? We paid nearly 100 gold pieces for that map. It was supposed to lead to a spot of valuable minerals found over 100 years ago. It was a terrific investment. The map was an antique, but it looked like it could not have been more than a few years old. How does not see a preservation like that every day? Tunnel. Malloy looks at you, puts a finger to his lips. I asked you not to speak of this to anyone. Schedule. Owings, have a look at that schedule and find out how we are doing. Owings heads over and goes to pick up a very large scroll. As he touches the tip of it and sends it rolling away down the mine shaft. As it rolls away, it is unraveling, leaving a lengthy trail of paper behind it. Owings chases after it, but he succeeds doing little but tangling up his legs in a long roll of paper. When he at last has the other end, it is an unreadable mess. Give me that, says Malloy as he snatches a piece of the scroll away. He examines it for a moment. According to this, we shall be finished in 173 years. Owings, have we got to start working faster? The two of them go back to digging with their spoons. As they dig, Malloy turns to Owings and says, This is another fine mess thou hast gotten me into. Goodbye. Both Malloy and Owings stop what they are doing and give you a friendly goodbye wave. Oh, those two guys, they did a really good job of imitating two Earth actors that we should all know. But of course, no one. It's the resemblance to any person's living is accidental, right? Okay. Well, so far I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary. I thought there was supposed to be something hidden down here, but nothing. Dead end? Oh, there's the hidden tunnel. And what is the hidden tunnel hiding? Hmm. That was a big did nothing. That's what we wanted, one last piece of back rock. We got it. Okay, good. So that's what this hidden passage had. Access to a black rock vein. So if we have any need of future black rock, we can always come back here. Good to note. This looks like a regular rock outcropping. Okay, I think that is it. I think that we have gone through here and done what we can. I think the most important thing for us is that we found all those vials of that serpent venom that we can sell. That should make us a pretty good penny. Help us to make, because the one thing that we really need to do is buy up all the rest of the spells, and they get expensive, so. I'd also like to see if now that we've come into here, if that has kind of reset the town a little bit. We already got out of the whole met everybody at the place of the murders here. They all look to have gone. So maybe now we can find them at their actual places of business and take care of anything we actually need to in town. This person looks to build candle bras. Let's talk to her. Hello again, my lord, says Xanthia. We talked to her before, but let's talk about this. Candle bras. I make simple candle bras, but sometimes I will do commissioned work, making more specific ones. I was hired by the Fellowship to make candlesticks for all of their Fellowship halls. So, can't ask her anything about that specific Fellowship. Eleanor, the head of the local Fellowship branch, showed me a picture of the Fellowship symbol, and I based the design for my candle bra on that. Okay, now here we go. There's something. Eleanor? She says she's a recruiter. Why, she's got Burnside, our mayor, to join, as well as Gregor, the local head of the Britannian Mining Company, and Owen, our shipwright. He is soon to be famous, I am sorry to say. She has never asked me to join, thank goodness. Candlebrat murder site. You described the Candlebrat found at the murder scene, Samantha. Her eyes widened with recognition. Yes, that is the one of the Candelabras I made. 'Twas in the sawmill at the murder site. Yes. She looked shocked. How horrible! I swear I did not know it could have gotten there. Thou shouldst certainly ask Eleanor about it. Artist Guild? I don't remember what she said to us and what she didn't. Let's go though. I'm not going to read any more because I'm like, we met everybody in town. We talked with them. There may be some things about their jobs that they didn't share with us, but A glass item. Oh, we got gold. Oh, we have another piece of black rock. Well, well, well. Not quite a match, but pretty enough. All right. We already spoke with Sarah, and I don't think we have need to anymore. Hmm. And I bet this key unlocks this chest. No. Well, I'll be sorry. Didn't mean to cough in your guys' face there. So this is a locked chest, but it is not locked with that key. Let's double check just to make sure. We can unlock. Oh, 8 magic arrows, 90 gold crowns. How much gold do we have on us now? 980. What is that? Just cloth. Okay, let's see if we can find the training hall. That's what I'm looking for particularly. Looks like we found the mayor's place. The training hall. Let's go ahead and save it here. Okay, I'm going to have Jenna work with him on her strength. It's going to give her some points to intelligence too, which I don't really think she needs. I don't think anyone other than the Avatar needs, but if there's anybody who will benefit from it, it is her with her healing powers. Let's go ahead and get the things back up here because I think that we can bring up the trainer now. My price is 20 gold for each training session. Art thou still interested? Yes. Which of thou wishes to train? Jana. You pay 20 gold and the training session begins. Shakir's eyes glow bright as he begins to explain some of the strategies used by great military leaders in awesome battles fought in ages past. He whispers to Jana conspiratorially as he draws maps in the dirt. After some time, Jana can practically feel some of his shrewdness sinking in to be absorbed. I look forward to thy return. Bye. Wonderful. So let's just take a look at her stats now. She does have 14 as opposed to 13 strength and 19 as opposed to uh, 18. So both of those went up a point. So, of course, she got a little bit more weight that she can carry. But we'll have to get her strength from someone else as well. Someone who's not just going to put points towards intelligence. Where else do I want to go? I think I want to go to the bar this time. I think there's one last person in town to meet. I think he's here. Oh, and Eleanor's here too. Let's go ahead and talk to her real quick. Art thou speaking to me, my lord? Eleanor asks. We want to ask about the Candlebra. Yes, the Fellowship commissions Santa to create a Candlebra which thou dost describe. It is incorporated into our three tenets, U for unity, T for trust, and W for worthiness. You tell Eleanor that it was found at the murder site. Eleanor registers surprise. I cannot imagine why it was there. Someone must be trying to implicate us. She thinks for a moment. If thou dost ask me, I would wager that Federico and Tanya were murdered by their own people, and another gypsy placed a Candlebra at the site to implicate us. Those gypsies would kill their own mother if it meant gaining a bit of gold. Bye. I have a feeling we shall see each other again. Hope not. And I think here's the person we haven't talked to yet. You see a young man dressed in an expensive tunic. He is very serious. Name? My name, my lord, is Evan. It is a name I suspect thou shalt be hearing more of in the future. Job? He looks at you in the eye and speaks without the slightest trace of modesty. I am, he says, the greatest shipwright in the history of Minoc. I am the greatest shipwright who has ever lived. Greatest? And thou dost know how I became that way? I shall tell thee. I started to hear a voice in my head. Oh, I know that thou shalt think me mad. Voices? They were not the voices anyone I have ever known, but still these voices have a profound effect on me. Mad? After searching for the meaning to this voice, which provided difficult for how dost thou tell someone, especially a stranger, that thou art hearing a voice in thine head, I came across the fellowship. They taught me what the voice was. Minoc, despite all the business with murders, I must confess that I love it here. This is a place where I was born. They love me. They are going to be building a monument here in mine honor. I suppose I have been worthy of it, but still, I can't help but be flattered. Crown Jewel? The Crown Jewel was in town and left early this morning. It was scheduled to sail for Paws. Hook. I saw a man with a hook for a hand wandering around town last night. Voice. That was the voice of reason within mine own mind which sought to guide my life to its proper direction. The fellowship taught me thou to trust this voice and heed what it says, and thou canst see the results in mine own life. I have mastered my craft and advanced the technologies of shipbuilding through the methods I have devised. Fellowship. The Fellowship is a wonderful organization that is open to all the peoples of Britannia. Blah, 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 blah. No philosophy. Murders. He shakes his head slowly. They are going to be unveiling the mine monument sometime in the near future. Dost thou think these talk of these events will keep people away from the ceremony? That would be a tragedy. Monument. Oh, thou canst ask anyone in town about it. They all know. Methods. I even have written a book describing the advances I have made in the methods of shipbuilding. It is very advanced, but I have tried to write it so that it is accessible to the layman. Wouldst thou be interested in purchasing a copy? No. Humph. I suppose it would be beyond thy comprehension anyway. Personal life. My friend, there was a time when I thought that my life was at its end. I felt as though it had been swallowed into a cold, deep hole of darkness. Darkness. My very soul was felt as if it had sunk into a place into which no light could enter. Soon after I discovered the fellowship, the difference that it made in my life was miraculous. Goodbye. Tired of benefiting from my presence? Very well, I shall see thee again, I hope. Okay, now if you put all the clues from all the people we talked to about and then Owen together, there's a hermit who lives outside of town that I think we actually introduced ourselves to in that pub earlier that we need to talk to. It was the brother of the one person who died in Owen's ship. And he is south of town. Not too far, just kind of like right over here. He has a hut. There he is. Now we just got to find a place to land. All right. Well, let's see if he'll actually talk to us. Where'd he go? He's always around here somewhere, but doesn't quite stick to the hut. What dost thou want? Leave me alone. I want to talk about your brother. My brother. Mine only family in the world. Served aboard a ship built by Owen. The ship was one of several that sank 3 years ago during the first storm it ever encountered. My brother went down with it and was never seen again. Owen? I confronted Owen with this, and he denied that it had anything to do with his workmanship. I returned that night and stole the plans he had drafted, so at least no other ships would ever be built like them again. But it left me so angry at the world that I knew I could not live among people ever again. I went away to live up in the mountains. The only times I ever come back are to fetch a few supplies and maybe have a drink at Rutherford's fine ale once in a while. The plans? I still have those plans up in my cabin. Every once in a while I try to figure them out. I suspect no one in town, save for Owen himself, could understand them. Maybe Julia the Tinker would be able to shed some light on them, but she would never listen to an old mountain lad like me. Mountain man? Far away from the mire of present-day society is where I belong. In the wilderness thou canst know what is what. Julia, if thou dost want to show Julia the plans, I will give them to thee. They are in my cabin southeast of the BMC office. That's where we are. So, Finale? If not for Rutherford's Finale, there would be no purpose to the existence of civilization. Several ships. 3 other ships that were built from Owen's basic designs all sunk within the first year of their launch. Over a dozen lives were lost due to that villain glorious bastard. Bye. Cease thy racket, then, before I lose my temper. Still pleasant, huh? Okay, let's go in here. Ooh. Okay, there's the plans of Owen. Go ahead and grab those. While we are at it, okay, let's head back to town. Let's see if we can take them with us.
All right. Fine, Julia. It is good to speak with you again, Iceman. Julia greets you. These are Owen's plans. May I see them? She examines every line of the plans carefully. These designs are unsound. Ships built to these specifications will easily capsize and sink. Thou should show us these plans to the mayor. Bye. Goodbye, Iceman. And we will do just that. To the mayor, Batman. Avatar, good to see thee again, says Burnside. Show him the plans. You showed the mayor the plans Owen had drawn up, making sure to carefully point out the flaws discovered by Julia. The mayor is aghast. This is terrible. No one must see this. It would ruin Owen and cause irreparable damage to our town if it became known that our shipwright caused those deaths. Damage? But very few suspect the deaths are attributed to Owen's shipbuilding. We can destroy the plans and the truth would never get out. It would save the town from disgrace and possible ruin. Deaths? Then again, the ships Owen builds will continue to sink. It would harm Minoc even more if it were to become known as the place where the death ships are made, a town that built a monument to an incompetent statue. There are no two ways about it. The statue must be stopped. I am hereby canceling the erection of the statue. Ender, Avatar, couldst thou please go inform Owen of this bad news for me? I am a bit busy at the moment. Besides, I think he will take it much better if it comes from thee. Bye. A pleasure, friend Avatar. A pleasure. Well, I doubt he's going to take it very nicely, but we will go tell him. Owen looks at you and sniffs. It would appear thou dost wish to speak with me again. Your statue is cancelled. After years of breaking my back trying to make something of this ungrateful little town, I'm giving up. I swear I will never build another ship, and not so long as I live. That will teach them, no matter how much they beg or plead, I will not do it. Ungrateful? Apparently building the greatest ships to ever set sail in history, and all that has done for Minoc are no longer enough. No. Thanks to that pompous idiot of a mayor, I am denied the rightful tribute of which I have proven myself more than worthy. Design flaws. Bah! How many ships has Mayor Burnside built in his miserable little life? But there were deaths. You tell him about the many innocent civilians who lost their lives on the ships he built. Owen shakes his head slowly. I do not know. I have no idea how it could have happened. It is difficult to conceive of the plan of great such loss of life brings into this world. But I did my best when I built those ships. I did not want to lose them to die. Thou must believe me. Owen appears distressed. The tribute to me is now more than a tombstone. Tribute? I know. My work will stand as my monument. My name will endure long after my statue is worn to dust. People will remember me. I promise thee that. And with a dramatic flourish, Owen produces a dagger. Before you can stop him, he plunges it into his own chest. He coughs loudly, and blood spurts from his mouth, soaking his fine linen tunic in white-red gilt. After a moment, it is all over. Owen, the greatest shipwright who ever lived, is dead. Lovely. So let's see what Eleanor has to say about him now.
Let's say Minoc. The slight embarrassment of the legacy of Owen will fade in time. Owen? Eleanor rolls her eyes. Oh, please, she says, sounding exasperated. I do not concern myself with one such as him these days. Bye. Well, so ends the tale of Owen. Looks like our stowaway walked away. All right, I think that's going to bring us to the end of this particular video. We still have one last cave to explore here in Minoc. We explored the old Covetous dungeon, the old mine, the new mine south of town, but there's another cave north of town that we're going to take a look at, another old abandoned mine. We might as well go through and clear it out before moving on to the next town, which I believe will be Gelholm, before returning to Britain to report to Batland that we have delivered successfully the package here in Minoc. But aside from that, I think, like I said, we'll probably after that make our way over to Vesper and then to the Isle of Fire to begin that big side quest, the Forge of Virtue. So our next couple videos are laid out pretty good. So as I said, this is a good time to stop. We're already past the hour and a half. I thank you for joining us. This is the Iceman saying so long, farewell, Avita saying good night.